chess tournaments, players typically don't do a lot of side activities. However, during the Maia Open, a huge chess tournament I was playing in Portugal, they organized a blitz tournament for the streamers participating and I decided to join. Now this day, I was very upset because I had just lost to a 13-year-old boy who was much lower rated than me, and so everything I wanted to do was to have some time for myself to, well, honestly, just order a pizza and watch shows and not think about chess. But I thought, let's just play blitz and have fun and see what happens. After playing 5 rounds, winning 3 and losing 2, I was faced against one of the strongest players in the tournament, international master Konstantin Kevutski, also known online as Kostya. Kostya had a few days prior won a huge blitz tournament that included a lot of grandmasters, and so I knew that he was an extremely strong opponent. He was rocking his Chess Dojo sweatshirt or hoodie, which is the name of his channel. And we talked a little bit before the game, but then we shaked hands and the game started. I started out by playing the move d4. He played knight f6, I went c4, g6, knight c3, and now this was a king's Indian. Now this is one of my favorite openings to play against. I have a really good result against this opening, and it's also like some of the most theory that I know. So I was really happy when he played this. I went d5, I was kind of waiting to see what he does, and he played a5, and I learned my lesson from when I lost against Alexandra Botas to not play knight e2 here. So I went knight f3, bring out my knight, he brought out his, and then I played bishop g5. And now the question was, is he gonna castle now, or what is he gonna do? So he spent a little bit of time considering his options. He went h6, threatening my bishop. The bishop went back to e3, that's the square where it belongs, because I want to sometimes maybe play queen d2. I also want to have the option of taking the knight that goes to c5, which is where his knight on a6 is going to go. He played h5, which I thought was kind of surprising here, because now I will have forever the g5 square for whatever I want, for my bishop, for my knight, for whatever I want. So I was thinking here, okay, what can I do with that? He played h5 because he wanted to prevent me from playing g4, which makes sense. But this is something that I haven't really faced, and I thought that this was quite nice for me. I ended up playing bishop g5 back and smiled a little bit because it was like, okay, we're going back and forth. And he played bishop h6, which I also wasn't expecting. I realized that it was really important for me to keep the tension on that square, so I went queen d2, defending the bishop, and now with the idea that after he takes, I wanted to take back with the knight, so that the knight on g5 would forever defend the pawn on e4, and now this pawn is very defended. So I simply played bishop e2, developing, and here I just wanted to ask myself, where am I going to castle? Do I castle queenside? Do I castle kingside? I couldn't really decide, but I ultimately ended up castling queenside because I thought that he was going to castle kingside, and then I thought that I could do a lot of damage on that side. I thought for him castling queenside that it was going to take a long time and his pawn on a5 would be very weak then. So he ended up playing h4 and I just played g3, kind of asking where is this pawn going to go. Now this wasn't really a great move, but he played king f8. And now I just thought, okay, he wants to go to g7, but this king looks very weird in the middle of the board. What do you do when there's a king in the middle of the board? You want to open up the position, you want to make the position explode. And so I was thinking in my brain, how do we make this position explode? Even though I look very calm here. I ended up playing rook f1 with the very clear intent of playing f4 and having my rook on f1, taking control of that whole f file. And he played queen e7, putting some pressure on e4 if I play f4. But I thought, okay, let's go queen e3 and defend this pawn, and now once again threaten f4. He played king g7, trying to get his king a little bit into safety, and I decided that it was time to play f4. If I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. I'm just trying to trade off the pawns that are in front of the king to eliminate the security that the king has right now. That's kind of how chess works. So he took on g3, and I was thinking here, do I take back? Do I take something else? Like, what do I do? This was a very sharp position and my time was ticking, so I had to really make sure that I didn't mess this up. So I went queen takes g3. I had to take that pawn. He was threatening g2. And now I thought, okay, I'm threatening maybe to take on e5. I'm maybe threatening to go f5. He played rook h6 to double up his rooks in the h file, which I was expecting. And so I ended up playing f5. And I thought that I just wanted to make all the pawns in front of his king weaker. So he brought the other rook to put some pressure on my pawn, and I decided to push it up. Maybe also threatening to go h5 and applying a lot of pressure on that g6 pawn. And I think this kind of worried Kostya. I think that he didn't really know exactly what to do against that. And even though the eval bar is saying that this is equal, this is a very sharp position where I don't think this game is going to end in a draw. Either I will win or Kostya will win, but this is very sharp. So we were both really not nervous, but just really focused and trying to find the best move. So we spent some time thinking, and he ended up moving his king to f8, getting the king out of that file with the queen. Here I started considering all my options. Do I push the h-pawn? Do I take on g6? Do I have any crazy tactic with knight e6 check? I saw my rook was on the same file as the king. I thought, this is so close to being something huge, but I can't really see where it is. So I ended up taking the pawn on g6 because that was the reason I played f5 to begin with. He captured with the rook because if he captures with the f-pawn, the king is going to be very unsafe. And here I saw my time kind of going down, but I thought I have to push this pawn. Now I actually think that if he goes something like rook h6 here, I wasn't really exactly sure about what to do, but he ended up playing rook g8, which I was quite happy with because now my pawn on the h file was completely safe. And I think he played it because he didn't want me to have any weird queen g7s. But I played rook g1 now, and when I did this move, I had a very nasty trick. A trick that I wasn't sure if Kostya had seen. But this move, rook g1, was a very, very poisonous move. He took my pawn on e4, missing my trick, and I was laser focused on the move knight h7 check, which just wins the game. And in this moment, Kostya realized it, and he knew that he was going to lose because this will be a forced checkmate. And he even let me play it out all the way through. And there I won the game against Kostya, which I was just really, really happy. I couldn't believe that I had won this game. And he just told me that he had completely fallen for this trick. He had missed knight h7 check. But after knight h7 check, it's just completely winning for me. It's going to be a checkmate. So I was so happy. I couldn't believe it. And it was funny because he muttered the words, "Well, I guess I lose." And yeah, it was just really fun because I've lost against him so many times. So I finally got a win, and especially on a day where I had lost against someone lower rated, it meant a lot to beat an international master. Now, this was not just a win in this game, but me winning this game actually made me get an amazing placement in this tournament because I ended up getting, well, shared second. The winner of this tournament was a grandmaster, Noel Studer, and then me and Maia got the same points, but she had half a point higher of Buchholz, which means that she ended up getting second and I ended up getting third, but we had the same points. And at the prize ceremony of the whole event, I actually got a trophy for this. So they didn't really allow Noel to win the tournament because he was a grandmaster and he wasn't a streamer, and the point was just for this to be for streamers. So it ended up being Anna Maia winning the whole thing, me coming second, but both of us getting the same points, which is why I'm titling this video that I won this tournament, because we got the same points, and I've never really won a chess tournament, so this is the closest I've come to it. So GG's in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you also the whole Maia Chess tournament for organizing this really fun Blitz event. I shall continue playing Blitz and hopefully getting a high Blitz rating one beautiful day.